I would like to call to order the City of Saugatuck City Council meeting for November 13th. Would the clerk please call would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, would the clerk please call the roll?
Baldwin.
Here.
Dean,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Leo,
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Muncy,
Here.
Stanton.
Here.
You have a form.
Thank you, Jamie. I would like to start out my mayor's comments with a suggestion of an agenda change, given that we're all here for the big event. So I would like to move that we move item 15E on your agendas up to item 5. So we would move 15E, selection of mayor and mayor pro tem, up to 5. Could I get a motion to do so?
Mayor,
Yes.
move to move item 15E to the next item, number 5, selection of mayor and mayor pro tem.
A second?
Second motion, Lewis, second Muncy. All in favor, please say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, motion carries. With that, I do have a few comments this evening. And I'd like to start tonight by thanking our city clerk, Jamie Walters, our deputy clerk, Sarah Williams, and their team of volunteers for holding a safe and secure election last Tuesday. I'd also like to congratulate Councilman Russ Gardner on his reelection to the council and Holly Anderson and Logan White on their election and welcome them to the council.
Congratulations.
Good to see you here, Logan. I look forward to working with both of you at our November 27th regular meeting. I'd also like to thank outgoing council members Garnet Lewis and Holly Leo for their 4 years of service on the city council.
Yeah.
Both have plans to reside outside the city limits, but thankfully for the tri-community area, they are not traveling far. I hope they will continue to serve our community. You know, Max and I moved here from Saugatuck 5 years ago. You know, some of you might even call us locals now. That's okay. That's okay, because you know what? We live in a democracy, not an aristocracy. We came here to bring up our daughters in a community that valued diversity, respect, fairness, education, the environment, and above all, service to others. What two better role models than Holly and Garnet? Garnet's contribution.
Thanks, Mark.
Garnet's contribution to the community are many, but I will remember her most for her leadership, even before she became mayor. During the pandemic, she worked tirelessly to keep the city financially stable and our local economy strong. She also kept us safe. Every time our family went to get vaccinated at the county clinics, there was Garnet volunteering and helping get shots in arms. Garnet also led the way in protecting Saugatuck's precious environment through her leadership on recycling and hazardous waste collection programs. So thank you, Garnet. Like Garn, Holly has always been a natural leader. Here at City Hall, she demanded transparency, integrity, and accountability from her peers on the council. She earned our trust and respect. It's why we selected her to lead Saugatuck in the tri-community effort to complete the Blue Star Trail, where she was instrumental in securing more than $1 million in grant funding to create a safe bike crossing connecting the east and the west sides of our town and connecting us to our neighbors in Douglas. As the father of 4 young women, I feel blessed that they can look to these role models of courage, caring, and competence for inspiration. And I hope the example of Holly and Garnet's service to this community will inspire the people of Saugatuck, both young and old, for many years to come. Thank you, Garnet. Thank you, Holly. And with that, we will move to item 5 on our agenda, selection of the mayor and the mayor pro tem. This is something we don't do very often. We do it once a year here in Saugatuck. And I really want to be careful not to repeat the selection process that our House of Representatives has been through recently. So I'm going to ask our attorney, Kyle, not Jake, but Kyle, to come up and give us a little bit of a primer on how we're going to run this.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, City Council. So it is a relatively, what you think would be a straightforward task, although it is somewhat complex in your city charter and actually your rules of procedure. So section 4.12 of your charter says the first meeting following the regular election, the city council shall elect a mayor and mayor pro tem for a term of 1 year. There's no other special requirement in that section. If you go to section 4.18 of your city charter, that discusses how the council may adopt its own rules of procedure, which it has done. So page 5 of your rules of procedure instructs you to follow Robert's Rules of Order as applicable. And believe it or not, or you may already know this, there is a rule in Robert's Rules of Order. It's in chapter 11, I believe it's rule 66, that talks about nominating officers and through the form of a voice vote. So what it instructs the chair to do, in this case, the mayor, would be to hear names from the council. They would be names for nominations for each respective position. I would suggest you start with one position first. And then the chair, after hearing the names, would repeat the names, and then the council would vote on the names in the order that they are nominated in. I would suggest, just for purposes of making a record, that when you solicit the names for each position, that you vote on them, of course, the order they're in, but I would have someone make a motion, make a second to just memorialize, that the person has support for the particular position. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'm here to help if you need any procedural help.
I just have one to kick it off. Is a voice vote sufficient?
Yes, I would say voice vote is sufficient to the extent, unless you cannot determine by voice vote, who, if there's a support from council to nominate the.
Very good. If any council members request a roll call, we can do that.
Yes.
All right. So with that, as mayor, I will open up the floor to nominations for the position of the mayor of the city of Saugatuck.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I
Kyle.
would like to nominate Lauren Stanton for the position of mayor of Saugatuck.
Second.
Motion Lewis, second Leo. Are there any other any other nominations for mayor? Say again, are there any other nominations for mayor? I will ask a third time.
Yeah.
Are there any nominations for mayor? We have a motion to nominate Lauren Stanton for the position of mayor. All in favor, please say yes.
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 All opposed, say no.
No.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, could I make just a brief comment? My vote, no, is not against Lauren personally. It's a vote against the process, which was not collaborative, which was not in conjunction with myself and Councilmember Muncy. We could have done better at this to bring us into the fold, to have some questions answered. And one of the questions I have for the candidate is, what is your motivation for becoming mayor?
Mayor's-
Is this
You
a
know,
question
we've
and answer
elected a
session?
mayor,
I don't know.
We've elected a Russ. The motion carries 5-2.
Point of order.
Point of order. The mayor has been selected.
Correct.
Well, the mayor has not been selected. so-
Okay.
Oh, let's
Okay.
take
All right.
Any other discussion?
turn.
Let's move.
All right. All right, we're moving over. Now to onto Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a nomination for Mayor Pro Tem?
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Helen Baldwin for Mayor Pro Tem.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Leo, seconded by Lewis. Any other nominations for Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to nominate Gregory Muncy for Mayor Pro Tem. Gregory, I think, is an excellent candidate for that position. He has 19+ years living in the community. He's a former business owner, serves with distinction on the interurban board, and has done a number of community organizational events with our businesses as well as the past city governments.
Is there a second?
I'll
Okay.
support myself and say second.
That's fine. We have a motion by Gardner, second by Muncy. And so now we have two. So if we can now take a vote on Mayor Pro Tem Helen Baldwin. All those in favor of Mayor Pro Tem Helen Baldwin say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed?
No.
Opposed.
Okay. So I think the motion carries and congratulations.
That's pennies.
Do I get to keep the handbag?
Only if you tell your dog I said hi. In this, I just want to say thank you for your vote of confidence.
Mhm.
And I appreciate, Helen, you be willing to take on the role of pro tem. Everyone willing to serve, that's all that it's about, is just being willing to serve. And we hope people going forward feel the same way, that more people get involved and more people step up and are willing to serve. So I appreciate everyone who's been a part of all of this process. All right. On to the city manager's comments. Ryan.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Wow. My report is on page 7, so any questions? Happy to
Are there
answer.
any questions for Ryan as far as his report? Any discussion items? You want to grab me that one? This is you. Okay, that sounds good. All right, if nothing further, then we are on to guest speakers. Do we have any at this point, Jamie? No guest speakers. And this is for, the next item is public comment on agenda items only. So if there's anybody in the room that wants to speak on agenda items only, please feel free to go to the podium.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. That's nice to say.
Thank you.
City Council, my name is Mark Lachey. I live at 345 Grand Street. And I just want to take a moment to personally thank City Council members Garnett Lewis and Holly Leo. I've known Garn for a number of years. Holly Leo, I first met literally when she was riding her powder blue bicycle past my house. And when I learned her name was Holly, I then thought, well, it must be a Tiffany blue bicycle riding past my house. I will regret losing her as a neighbor and Garnett down a couple blocks from me. But having been on the city council myself, it's never easy. Having been on this city council, not having been on this city council, but those two having been on this city council, I realize that it is sometimes I'm sure 4 years seems like 40 and other times 4 years seems like 5 minutes. So I would wish for both of you to remember the joyous times, try to forget those less joyous times. And finally, I would like to thank former Mayor Dean for his service and Vice Mayor you for your service and wish you well in your new role. And Helen, I love you and I can't wait to see what you do as what I call Vice Mayor. So
That's right.
thank you for everybody. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Anyone else in the room want to speak at the podium?
Yeah, my name is Vicky Cobb. I live at 987 Lake Street. I just want to say that the two women that were just elected to these positions, I think are extraordinarily capable and competent to take these roles on. They are both extremely successful in their chosen career areas. One of them, luckily, we have her in this community as a retiree, and one of them is running one of the most successful businesses we have in Saugatuck and Douglas. I can't imagine better people with better qualifications to take on these roles than you two. So thank you for doing it, and I'm really happy to see you both in those roles. And Garnett and Holly, it's going to be really sorry to see you both leave because I think you've been extremely helpful and the leadership you've provided to the community has been really, really amazing. So thank you both for that. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Go ahead, Dan.
I don't know which way to look now.
Right here.
Used to seeing Helen here and I wanted to, Dan Fox, City of Saugatuck. I wanted to speak to, and I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I'm not sure the item number, but the recommendation on the airport property deal, whatever number that is. I think you know, because it's in your packet, was in the workshop packet, that in 2009, the Grand Rapids-based full-service municipal engineering firm called Williams and Works was hired by the city to look at that property and analyze things. So 14 years ago, that's been looking at the airport property, which, as you also know, is located in Saugatuck Township, although most citizens have no idea where it is. That consulting study that the city paid for identified 7 possible uses or courses of action for that property as follows. Status quo, do nothing. Sell it as it is. Third was rent the existing building as a residence or an office. Fourth was lease the land for wind energy, green use. Fifth was to form a public-private development, something I talked about last time I was up here. Sixth was the city develops the property on its own, for whatever purposes that might be. And seventh was for use as a public recreational facility. So tonight, there's a vote to move forward on only one of these 7. There's been a SOAR assessment, oft quoted, which is not research. It's at best focus group opinion kind of stuff. But that analysis was done on only one of these uses. City resources, this thing passes, are going to be taxed to look into, or whatever language it relates, into only one of these uses. There's been limited citizen involvement or advocacy on only one of these uses. What's the rush? Giving a head start like this is in no one's interest. It is the antithesis of good government. And we have a new one in front of us. If this is walking and chewing gum at the same time, as has been said in this room, I'd offer that it's doing both blindfolded. It's a good way to walk into a wall or step into a hole. The council owes citizens of Saugatuck a full and unbiased evaluation of all 7 of those, and maybe more for all I know, uses for this taxpayer-owned asset. And so tonight, the entire subject motion should be tabled.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room want to step to the podium on agenda items only?
Glenna Young, Saugatuck. As I mentioned last Wednesday at the end of the meeting, but I will repeat, I am on the Parks and Public Works Committee and also co-chair the airport property. We have had multiple discussions about this. We knew there was a study done 14 years ago, but nothing was done in those 14 years. And so we have a new council with new people who can look afresh at that. And we actually got 2 new studies that were done by the Outdoor Discovery Center for sustainability and an ecological study. Lots of data in there. And they have recommendations too. So I think we can start anew. We can look at those recommendations. We can also look at the SOAR analysis that was done, and it was on the whole use of what could possibly be done for the airport property, not just opening the trails. But what came out of that SOAR analysis was high on the list, was connecting with other communities through the use of those trails. So this is not a vote on opening the trails. It's a vote to get more research, which everybody agrees is a good thing and that we're data people. So I would say, let's support that. Let's gather more research, and then you can have an informed decision on that in the future. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room? Go ahead.
Marcia Casper, City of Saugatuck. Yeah, and I also attended the workshop that we talked about this property. And yeah, I echo the comment. It's been 14 years and, you know, shame on prior city councils for not doing anything with it. And kudos to this council for doing something with it. And just opening it up for due diligence, to look at opening the trails so the community can go and look at it, does not hurt anything. And this is the least intrusive use of the land, putting some trails in. If you start cutting down trees, selling parcels off, as I said at the workshop, it's gone forever. And I support doing the due diligence, moving forward from there. And there's always, these other options are going to take years and years. You don't develop something overnight, and finding partners, getting into contracts. And the other thing is there's lots of land around Saugatuck, and why tear down pristine property, for any other type of development when there's plenty of other, less pristine lands around that you could do something with, partner with the township, partner with Douglas, whatever. So I support doing the due diligence in opening the trails. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Louis Allen. I'm here with my husband, Christopher Hauk. We've been coming to Saugatuck for many years now. We live here part-time right now. Yeah. We were fortunate enough just to be able to purchase a home this last fall. May. And we were very happy to be able to do it. We were able to do it in a way that we were able to finance it because we were able to do short-term rentals. So I'm here to tell you how important it is that we were able to get a foothold into this community by having this ability to do short-term rentals. So that
Excuse
was
me,
a
sir.
way. that we
It's
were-
not on the agenda for tonight.
thought it
By
was.
all means, you can talk all about this at the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay. I'm
It's just
sorry.
not an agenda item.
That's fine.
Yeah, thank
We
you
thought
so
we had
much.
to come up with this
Yeah, I
stuff.
know. It's agenda items only off the top, and then at the end, we do non-agenda items. So by all means, we'd love to hear from you at the end of the meeting.
Very good.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. Anyone else in the room want to talk about agenda items only?
Hi, Holly Anderson, Wyrick Drive in Saugatuck. I just want to thank all of you on the current council for all you've done in the last 2 years. You've done great work and I'm proud of all of you. Thank you to Scott and Lauren as mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. Garnet and Holly, you both served the city with, done great things to the city. Congratulations to Russ on his reelection, to Logan. It's a great city and we are so blessed to have so many talented people with different backgrounds and experiences to serve us. So thank you all.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Come on up.
Wonder why Christine is here.
Hi, Christine Murphy Pierce, 449 Water Street, 121 Mary Street. First, I did not know all the excitement was happening tonight, so this is fun. And kind of organically fun because if it wasn't for Garnet and Holly and Lauren, the outdoor seating would have never happened. So I'm very happy that I got this chance to say thank you. Didn't even know it was going to happen. So I'm very happy because that changed it changed the way Saugatuck looks to a lot of other bigger cities, to a lot of other things. So I'm so happy I decided to come. Or just, I always like to be here and talk. So I just so thank you. Thank you so much. Obviously, I'm very for the outdoor seating. I've been to the workshops, done all the things, and I'm all for following all the rules. And I'm very much looking forward to having Ryan Cummings, having us so that we all are falling under the same thing. Because there's so many different licensing that does happen with property that does not belong to me. I have 3. I have property on a sidewalk. I have property on the right of way, and I have property in the street that I pay and I navigate all of that. And literally every year it confuses me. So I'm looking forward to having that all, on one piece of paper or however that works. But I know the dates were up in the air about April 1 to November 1, and then we wanted to shorten it a little bit. My whole thing is if the business owner wants to put their stuff out there, they want to pay for it. I say if they get 2 beautiful days, that's probably $25,000-$30,000 for them on 2 pretty days. So that's a big difference when it comes to an April with spring breakers, families that are coming to use their cottage, opening up their cottages before they do the short-term rentals. There's a lot in October where they come pick apples and close up their cottages. I see all those people all the time, and it's very important to this town. So thank you. And I'm so glad I was here. And I felt like I should bring champagne and service everybody. So thank you very much.
Anyone else in the audience want to speak on agenda items only?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to Garen. Keith Cherrick,
Pull your mic a
560
little
Main
closer
Street.
to- Sir, can you pull your mic a little closer? Thank you so much.
It's the beard.
Yeah.
Keith Cherrick, 560 Main Street. Holly, you're one of the first people I met in 1991 when I moved here into Douglas. And it's been a great 35, 40 years, and I hope we have another 35 years. Garnett, you're amazing too. You brought a transparency to Saugatuck City Council that wasn't here before you came. Thank you for that. And is there anything else you want to talk about? Oh yeah, the airport property. There are 3 dens of foxes there, by the way.
Cool.
And dens of foxes are super rare. So you can develop it into anything you want, but they'll be gone, as will every other critter on the planet in there. And there are 3 black foxes in there too. And they are super rare. So I think 1 out of every 300 foxes are black. And they actually might be one of the dens because there's like 3 or 4 of them. I don't have pictures, but I know who does, and I've actually seen them. That's it. Save the airport. Thanks.
Thanks, Keith. Anyone else in the audience? All right, anyone online have a hand raised, Jamie? Not that I see, no. All right. That concludes public comment on agenda items only. We are at item number 9, consent agenda. This is for the regular city council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
move to approve the regular city council meeting minutes of October 23rd, 2023.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a quick correction on page 3. It's Mr. Cappinga, not Mr. Dean.
Oh, yeah, Dean Cappinga.
All
Yeah.
good.
Any discussion? Okay, motion by Lewis, second by Dean. And this is a roll call vote.
Baldwin? Yes. Dean?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Leo?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Muncy?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes. All right, that goes on to staff reports, boards, commissions, and committees. Staff reports, city manager reports on page 7. Yes.
Madam Mayor, my report does remain on page 7. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions?
No
Okay.
question, just a quick comment on page 9, I've appreciated the council manager form of government tidbit. And this one is particularly, important and timely because you all will be coming up on a strategic planning session and how very important it is to cities to have this process because otherwise it's just a matter of chasing the shiny objects. So I appreciate that.
All right, anyone else? All right, on to the treasurer's report. That's on page 10. Peter, do you hear? Who's online? Peter, do you have anything to add? No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, I can
Go ahead,
barely hear
Peter.
anybody. No, I don't have anything to add. Just to let everybody know that the winter tax bills will be coming out here after Thanksgiving. So that's about it.
Yay, great, Peter, thank you. Thank you, Peter, appreciate that. Planning and zoning, Ryan Cummins, are you? He's on
He's in
vacation. Good for you.
Yeah.
So I'll move on then, unless you wanted to answer any questions. Does anyone have any questions that maybe Ryan Heiss could handle? No? Okay. Department of Public Works, Scott? Any questions for Scott?
How's that leaf and brush pickup going?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of leaves. There's so many. Thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate your whole crew. You guys are amazing. Let's see, the police report, Sheriff's Department. I see. You want to come up to the podium if there's any?
Bill.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you so
Thanks,
much
Bill.
for being here. Appreciate it. The engineer's report, is John Moxie online? Okay,
Madam Mayor, I just, a quick question. I know the engineer's not here, but I just want to put this on the record. There's a lot of work being done at North and Blue Star, which is great. They're raising the road by, I think, about 2 feet. So I'm just wondering what the time frame is on completion of that. Also, I was questioning, I didn't see if a culvert went in, so there's a lot of water collecting there. I know it's a mid-project, but just be kind of curious as to how that's going to play out in timing and when that's going to be ready to be driven on. So
is that something Scott
Yeah,
could answer?
Madam Mayor, I
Yeah,
believe
Scott, if you
Scott's
could
prepared
come up.
to speak on
Sure.
that.
didn't want to put him on the spot.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
that's
willing to do it?
great.
You willing to do it? Great.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Almost made it out of here. Protected, but
Blame me.
I'm happy to report on this just because I got an update today. We've had progress meetings every other week. And so I checked on the status of it today that yes, there was a new culvert put in underneath Maple Street
Awesome.
and paving is scheduled for Wednesday. So
Excellent.
right around the corner from it. And then after that, we'll be looking into doing some kind of the light kind of lawn restoration type of work after that. And we're
Nice.
happy to get this paving done before asphalt plants close down.
Wonderful.
Great.
The other question I have is on the actual weirs. Are those going to be reopened or closed again? So it will backfill into the Mildred Peterson Preserve? And I know it's pretty much in its natural state right now, but will the weirs be closed again to?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I think a lot of the residents that live around that area, they've been pretty patient with our project and they understand the importance of it. It didn't work. We thought that we could simply open up the gates on the dams, let a lot of water out, and then it would help dry up the intersection of Maple and North Street. That was not the case. That ground remained saturated as could be. A lot of nasty muck got excavated out of there. And I think as we go into the future, the solution for that is going to be much more involved than just raising the elevation of that road. I'm probably speaking out of turn here, but it may raise to the level that we need to get maybe like the Allegan County Drain Commission involved and take a look at that whole area holistically, because there's a lot of water from a very large geographical region that gets discharged into that marshy area. So it's a complicated issue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Scott.
Madam Mayor, I do want to point out Scott's pun raised to the level.
Nice. Well done. Well done. All right, moving on to boards, commissions, and committees. Fire District Administration Board, Dan.
Dan Fox, Council Representative to the Fire District Administration Board. Again, we're off our cycle of meetings, so we have not had a meeting of the Fire Board since since in advance of this meeting, since the last one reported. These are the statistics for October. I don't think there is anything shocking or surprising, a lot of stability year to year and what have you. But if you've got any questions,
For folks in the room, when is your next fire board meeting?
say it again.
When is your next fire board meeting?
Honestly, I don't have it in my
Okay.
head, so
Yeah.
it's online. It's
Okay.
probably next week,
Any questions for Dan?
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
The only thing I would add is a little bit of an update on the ambulance 2.0 study group that's part of the under whatever subordinate group within the board. There's, I think, 3 of us or 4 of us with the chief. They're trying to get availabilities on a bunch of people's time, but we hope to have a meeting within the next week, 10 days at the most. The purpose of which is to, one of the local ambulance companies that's going to come in and present to us and just share a general question and answer and whatever related specifically to challenges and opportunities and issues related to basic life support ambulance service, which is the service that the fire district is considering transitioning into. That's valuable, expert, experienced and whatever, and the chief will be in that with us. So we'll get a lot of good questions answered. So that's coming up.
Any other questions for Dan? Okay, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Interurban Board.
Not a whole lot since our last meeting. Our next meeting is on the 21st. Then we also have our subcommittee working on expanding our hours, which is will be on the 30th. We've got that grant. Phyllis is looking for engineer, and they're working on plans for expanding our building from our $250,000 grant that we just received for the building expansion. And I am learning more about paperwork as serving as the treasurer as I was elected a couple weeks ago of the Interurban Board. So other than that, I will have plenty to update us on after our next meeting on the 21st.
Any questions for Gregory? All right, on to Cal Lake. Is Barry here? No one from Cal Lake? Okay. Harbor Authority, we did not meet. Zoning Board of Appeals. Anyone from zoning? No? Okay. Historic District.
Yep, we met on the 2nd of November. The items that we discussed are included in the planning and zoning report on page 12 and 14 specifically. We reviewed the 333 Lucy as far as their app to remove sliding doors, replace with double hung doors, etc. We approved that. And then on page 14, we discussed the tinting, the window tinting, and approved that at 439 Butler. That's it.
Okay. Any questions for historic? All right. Planning Commission, Russ.
We meet this Thursday.
All right. Short-term rental task force, Ryan Cummins did a presentation at our workshop. It was also presented to the Planning Commission. So it all goes from there. They were general recommendations, and now it gets into the nitty-gritty. It now goes into zoning and planning and in front of council about some of the fee structures and some of the things that go forward. And we have to tackle a lot. So it's a heavy lift, but we're looking forward to it. Any questions? Okay. Parks and Public Works Committee. Helen?
We have a couple of motions under new business that we discussed at length at our workshop, and look forward to presenting those. And we meet again on the 28th.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Any questions for Helen? All right. On to Tri-Community Non-Motorized Trail Study Committee.
Well, I'm very happy to report that the trail is progressing, and it is now turning into a municipal infrastructure project. So Ryan is our point person and Parks and Public Works takes the lead. So it's a handoff to many capable folks.
Fantastic. Anybody have any questions for Holly while she is still a part of our city council? Holly, thank you again for all your hard work with that. We appreciate it. Tri-Community Recycling Ad Hoc Committee.
Just real quick, I gave that summary report on the 3rd annual Household Hazardous Waste Day, another very successful event. Just as a reminder to this body and the newly elected folks that you'll have on your table probably in the spring, a renewal for the single hauler waste contract that is expiring this spring. So my advice, for what it's worth, and I can give because I'm leaving, is Douglas, the city of Douglas is setting a really good example of how they went about kind of updating that contract to reflect the Tri-Community Recycling Committee recommendations. So my humble suggestion would be to kind of look and use their process as a model. Basically, they went to twice a month recycling pickup and an inclusion of a household hazardous waste day. So that will take, that'll be a good opportunity. How's that?
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much, Garnett, for your lead on that. It's been fantastic and we appreciate what you've done for our community in that regards as
Thank you.
well. Request for payment, none. We are on to item 12, approval of accounts payable. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay accounts payable in the amount of $256,532.48.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? All right.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I just want to note there's a $5,000 payment for painting services to West Michigan for City Hall. City Hall looks fantastic. That's been a real effort on the city's part. I know that the managers played a key role in getting that work done. It just looks fantastic. I know there's some finishing work that needs to be completed, so I think we'll be seeing some information regarding that, but it's so nice to see this icon look the way it should. It's
Looks
really
great.
nice.
That looks great. Any other discussion items? All right, it's a roll call. Jamie?
Baldwin,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Muncy,
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes. All right, no introduction of ordinances, no unfinished business. We are on to new business, 15A, the airport property recommendation. If everyone can go to page 27. Ryan, are you taking this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to do so, Madam Mayor. Thank you. City Council had a healthy discussion about this recommendation at your workshop. The recommendation is on page 28, if you want to jump into the motion.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
move to allow staff to prioritize the airport property trail system and conduct due diligence on the site. Return to council with recommendations for the safe and efficient utilization of the existing trail system.
Second.
Okay.
It was a tie. I don't-
Oh, it was a tie.
Give it up. Give it-
Motion
give it-
by Lewis, second by
give it a-
Leo. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, just wanted to, I will be voting no on this, and let me explain why. The airport property has been within the city's ownership for 80+ years. There have been attempts in the past with other councils to develop and do work with it. Have not seen any fruition on that. I am in support of analyzing the property, taking a look at the best use for our citizens and for our community. We are able to walk and chew gum at the same time. My concern is this is not the time to be chewing this gum. Plus the cost of the gum may be a little bit beyond our capabilities. I am concerned about resource capabilities here. This is going to be a encumbrance upon our DPW staff as well as our city staff to do the study. We have other priorities in the city, which I think have been identified through our strategic process as well as city council. And therefore, I can't support this.
Any more
Yeah,
discussion items?
yeah.
Go ahead, Scott.
Mayor, I'll be voting yes for this. I think the citizens of Saugatuck deserve to see this property firsthand. And I think the more people that see it, the better decision we'll make down the road. And I've been there 3 times. I see no harm in clearing the existing trails. Won't take a lot of work. We got a lot of volunteers in this community. They'll be more than happy to help. I've already been contacted by people in the school system that are very excited. I've been contacted by people that have opened up other trails in the township, and what we're doing could easily be undone. So there's no permanent changes to this property. It's simply giving the people of Saugatuck the ability to actually see and make a decision for themselves. So I will be in favor of it.
Okay, any other discussion?
Mayor, I'm understanding this isn't a vote to approve any work being done out there, is it? This
Um,
is to approve the investigation, shall we say,
That's more.
and allowing our staff to find out the feasibility of opening it, right?
Yeah.
So if it were to be open, that would be brought back to council, right? As we spoke about in the workshop, I think it really is worth a look over to see what the feasibility is. I think that'll be another time to come to council, whether we're talking about, maintaining that and finding out the cost. Talking to business owners and residents about what's important when we're spending money. I know we've got $1 million there that we've spent about half of it already. Almost half of it on our play area, our new play equipment. No, not half of it. 300,000, whatever. When I talk to folks, I could look at the exact number, but that's not the point. When I talk to folks, especially business owners, and there's a lot of talk about updating our current bathrooms. The one at Wicks Park, the one that we have in the, here at Village Square. And we have been asked many, many years, I don't know, a lot more than 15 years or so, about having a bathroom in Coughlin Park. The idea of having that, we've talked about in the past decisions on trying to do that, what we could do to do that. I think right now, while we have that money, that might be something to look into, is adding another bathroom before, spending it on things like this. So that's where I stand. I am voting yes. I'm not voting yes that we are going to do this, but I would like to see how much it's going to cost and how much work it's going to take, extra work for our DPW, which is already a small staff, and they're already, they're pretty much to the rim every year of what they have to do. So.
All right, anyone else?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So a couple of things about that. I do just want to reiterate that, yes, it's really just for us to look into what it would take. We've not abandoned any hope of any private donations, and I'm looking into that. And there is nothing, again, I can't say this enough, and I know we've had this conversation so many times, and I'm going to keep it brief. There is nothing that we're proposing that we do, even if we legitimize the trails, which is another thing that would have to come back to council, that precludes any future use of this property. Okay? Transparency, get it out there, let people walk it, let people see what we have. That's all we're asking. That's all the Parks and Public Works Group is asking for us to do. And I thank you for letting me bring that before this body.
Anyone else?
Just one last thing, Mayor. In the interim, I'd be happy to take anybody that wants to go for a walk and see that property for themselves. Of course, I think I'll wait till the end of deer season since
That's probably a good idea.
since
going
we
on.
have a bit of an issue with poachers. So there are some people that do experience the property frequently, even though they are poaching on city property. But
Okay.
so happy to work with Scott Herbert and happy to do some
Yeah.
tours.
Holly, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the Parks and Public Works Committee and the team that worked on the airport property. This is the first time that we've had a group of citizens that have actually worked in conjunction with public land in this manner. And I think you did a phenomenal job. I love the idea of us just doing our due diligence and allowing people to see this property. I call it the Field of Dreams because everybody has an idea for it, which is wonderful.
Good
But I don't think we
characterization,
need, we need to make a Sophie's choice. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not an either or. I just think people will enjoy learning about it, and it's something that we all own, so.
Any other discussion?
We're asking the staff to do a duty here. I'd also like to ask if we could have some kind of, it can be loose as it was. Nobody can get a magic ball and predict anything, but it would be nice to have a time frame of when these tasks that we see here would be completed.
All right. We do have a motion and it is a voice vote. So all those in favor?
Yes.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. All right, on to item 15B, Park Street stop sign request. This is page 74. And Ryan, do you want to have that one up, or is this?
Madam Mayor, you also had a healthy discussion at your workshop on this item. The sample motion is on page 74.
Madam Mayor.
Go ahead, Scott.
Go ahead, Scott.
Motion to allow staff to conduct due diligence on the installation of stop signs at Park Street at major intersections, focusing on Park and Campbell and Park Perryman. Staff will report back to council to discuss any engineering concerns and cost.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, just a question that I had from the Wednesday workshop. I presume that this will be the engineering as well as the sheriff's office will be involved in this discussion and analysis. This should be an objective measurement of whether this is needed.
Ryan, if
Madam
you want to
Mayor.
answer
Yeah,
that.
Yes, yep, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? So again, we're just looking into this and
Yes, Madam Mayor, if I may. And
Yeah.
again, thank you for allowing PPW to bring this to this body. Again, just looking at, there's a big concern, especially in the summertime, to slow traffic down as you're going down Park Street toward Campbell. It's just you naturally pick up speed off of that hill. And as people head into Oval Beach, especially at sundown and that, it definitely gets really busy. And we're just looking to, again, look into it, what's involved, does it make sense? No one's going to go out there and pound in a stop sign today. So it's just, can we look into it and does it make sense? And that's all I'm asking for this body to consider, please.
All right, we have a motion and this is also a voice vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. On to 15C, expanded outdoor dining area. This is page 75.
Madam Mayor,
Yeah,
I'd like to make a motion. If I can find the motion.
77.
it's on 77.
got it
I'm
right
sorry.
here. A
Craig.
motion to adopt zoning ordinance number 231113-A and its amendments to section 154.0920 of the zoning ordinance to provide expanded regulations pertaining to restaurants with outdoor seating and expanded outdoor dining areas occupying public right-of-way or public sidewalks.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? We didn't go into detail about this. Did you want to have, I know Ryan Cummins is on vacation, but
I just have a question.
Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Madam Mayor. Does that mean that we would adopt the changes? Because
No.
I think this body wanted it April 1st. Okay,
yeah,
Said that he was gonna.
I cannot vote for this as it's written.
right. It's written, it's written to change the date to May 1st. And so we need. to-
no, it's not. If you go to page,
Yeah.
Has it been changed?
right here, page 80.
Oh, I'm looking at page 77 with the legal
Right.
review and, okay, so.
Madam Mayor, if I may, yeah, this, just real quick, based on our discussion on Wednesday, the proposal is to leave the dates as is. The Planning Commission had discussed this and had recommended that we move the dates to May 1st through October 31st. But after lengthy discussion on Wednesday, we opted to leave it as is because we felt that
Okay,
it was
I see.
working as
Okay.
is. So
So,
that's where we're
so,
at.
so we need to read the.
Yeah,
the
if you go
actual,
into the
yeah,
zoning
And
ordinance.
not the discussion of it.
Correct.
Okay. fair
Just
enough.
so everyone knows, within the ordinance, the dates will remain the same. Outdoor dining would be April 1st. You could start putting out outdoor dining as early as March 20th. And then it goes through November 1st. You have 10 days after November 1st to uninstall your outdoor dining. That's what it says in the ordinance and that's what we're voting on tonight.
Mayor,
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mayor, I believe if Councilman Muncy chooses to amend his motion to remove the words and its amendments to section 104.092 parentheses O, then basically we will adopt the motion as it's currently written and not make any changes to it.
Then I would like to amend my motion to remove the amendments to section 154.0920 of the zoning ordinance.
Could I ask the clerk?
We need a second. on that.
Yeah, okay. go
I'll
ahead.
second it.
All right.
Got it.
Thank you.
I think he wants us to read it over, don't
Could-
you?
Yeah. could I-
Yeah.
could I- oh, all right.
Then I can reread it if you'd like me to?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
Motion to adopt zoning.
Hold on, we got
Yeah, I
help
don't
coming
think
in.
that's correct,
The-
Scott.
the
I'm
mo-
sorry.
The motion as presented in the packet is correct. So you
Yeah.
do not have to remove,
That's correct.
it's a zoning ordinance amendment that has a label that titles the ordinance with I can't remember what the numbers are off the top of my head. And then it references amending a section of the zoning ordinance
Right.
relating to this expanded outdoor dining area.
That's
So in
correct.
the packet is correct. to
So
keep
the
everything the same.
motion,
So did I read it correctly from
you
the
did the
beginning?
first
You did,
time.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be led
We have a,
astray.
Okay.
there's a motion after that to repeal the previous
So could I just-
language.
Can I just clarify with Kyle?
Yes.
So the two bullet points on page 77 above the legal review will not be adopted.
That is correct.
Okay, so the date will not change from May 1st
Correct.
through October 31st, and the removal of the period for tear down and setup will not change.
Yes, you would be adopting what
Okay.
is it referenced in the packet as the zoning ordinance amendment, which does not include those two things.
And then just to clarify, Scott and anyone else, we're repealing in item 15D, the
Right.
way it was originally set up when it was temporary.
Yeah.
This is making the whole outdoor dining area a more permanent thing where it's more streamlined and it's all under one ordinance and it's not hodgepodge of the way it was because of COVID and those things. So we're repealing that on 15D. Is that correct?
That is correct. You had essentially a mishmash of zoning ordinance regulations, police power regulations, and then kind of administrative allowances during the COVID
Mhm.
time period.
Okay,
And you would replace that with zoning.
all right. So it's clear as mud. We're all good.
The way that, the
Thanks,
way that
Kyle.
Councilmember Muncy read it the first time was absolutely correct.
It
Okay,
was,
so
yes.
we're all clear on that now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
If you want me to, I'll read the original again.
I like it. I like the original. I don't believe you got us.
She's got it.
You're the original.
The original
Okay,
is
very good.
fine.
Yeah.
And the second was Lewis?
Yes.
Okay,
I think.
okay, all right. This is a roll call vote, Jamie. Oh, there's more?
Yeah,
Okay,
just,
there's
Matt-
more.
Yep. Mayor, as representative to the planning commission and for the benefit of the people that are here this evening, I do want to express that the planning commission is in support of expanded outdoor dining. I've had citizens that have come up and asked me, when are you getting rid of expanded outdoor dining? And that's the minority. I think it's been a great change for the city. This codifies what was an emergency situation. I'm fully in support of this. To understand where the planning commission was coming from on the recommendations to shorten the season had to do with issues regarding public works. And the discussion was around shortening the season at the front end of the season to make sure that our DPW department can paint the streets, do road repairs. The asphalt doesn't open up until mid-April typically. So we were trying to, the planning commission was thinking through, okay, how could we maybe help the city staff and help the DPW particularly not have to deal with that? Even though we have a revocable license with each of the outdoor dining areas, we can ask them to move their equipment to paint or repair the roads. That's very cumbersome on a business owner. So we were thinking through how could we best approach that? That's where the recommendation came from. Plus, we had a business owner that came to the meeting and expressed concern about the length of the season. And she had some very good points about how her demographic of shoppers changes. So the planning commission, I think, made a reasonable recommendation. So I just want to make sure everybody understand where that was coming. It did not come out of left field.
And Ryan, do you want to just address that? It's in the ordinance that they have to move it if we have to do any street repairs or any painting of the sidewalk, the surrounding areas or anything like that.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. And Scott Herbert's probably the best person to address this, but we're a nimble crew. And when I say we, I mean DPW and Scott Herbert.
Yeah.
So we really haven't had too many issues and go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty well summarized. Michigan weather, we all know what it is. It's a moving target. So, March 20, setting up outdoor dining areas, that is a challenge for us. We have a lot of restrictions throughout the calendar year as it relates to accommodating our visitors, tourism, parking, et cetera, et cetera. So I see it both ways. I see a benefit to the business owners, but I also see giving us a window of opportunity to get some work done. One of the primary functions too is like every spring, I hire a plumber's environmental. They come through and they vac out all of our catch basins. And it can be a little awkward. I've definitely gone within expanded outdoor dining areas before and spray painted or marked for misdig locates. And it is a little awkward, but we can get it done. And if we have to work around it, we'll do it.
Yeah, Mayor, I appreciate Superintendent Herbert's can-do attitude, and I did have the opportunity to talk to the chair of planning, Mr. Mans, and he was very comfortable with the action the council's taking tonight.
Okay. All right, Scott, thank you so much.
Thanks.
If
Thanks,
there's
Scott.
nothing else, this is a roll call vote. Jamie? Go ahead.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Leo.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Stan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so now on to the expanded outdoor area ordinance repeal. That would be 15D. If you want to explain that, Ryan.
Madam Mayor, and I'm gonna call him Mr. Kyle to join me on this one. You have your sample motion on page 84. This just puts in place everything you just discussed.
Yeah, so you essentially had duplicative ordinances governing the same topic. This is a section of the city code that was a police power ordinance rather than zoning. Because you would be regulating this whole expanded outdoor dining through the zoning ordinance, you do not need a duplicative police power ordinance. So this ordinance would essentially repeal that section of city code.
All right, do I have a motion?
Mayor Lord?
Yeah,
Yeah. Mayor Stanton.
I'm cool with it either way.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 231113-B, an amendment to the Code of Ordinances to remove the temporary licensing provisions for expanded outdoor dining areas from section 96.33 to ensure consistency in the city's regulation of expanded outdoor dining areas.
Second.
Yeah, all right. Any discussion on this? All right, Jamie, this is a roll call vote as well.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Leo.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Stan.
Yes. All right, we're on to public comments on non-agenda items. You are welcome to talk about anything you'd like to talk about, so please come to the podium if you're in the room, but go ahead. Yes.
Glenna DeYoung, Saugatuck resident. It has been said many times tonight, but I don't think it can be said enough. I want to thank Holly Leo and Garnett Lewis for your service over the last 4 years. It's been incredible. I remember, I've been coming to these meetings for a long time. 4 years ago, we did not have video records of what was going on, and we had the minutes. And many times in the last 4 years, I had, when I'm not able to make it and there's something I want to see, I go back and I watch those. But who started that was Garnett Lewis. I remember sitting over there 4 years ago with a camera and, or others with the camera and, playing with the microphone so that it could be recorded. And even though it wasn't officially on the, city site, it was on Garnett's site. And that was the beginning of it. And that was the beginning of the transparency that we see and so much appreciate it. The bike trail, I don't know how long we've been discussing that here in the city, but I truly believe it was because of your involvement that we are getting that bike trail. So thank you very much.
All right, anyone else in the audience? Go ahead.
Yeah, Marcia Casper, City of Saugatuck. Well, I echo Glenna's comments regarding Garn and Holly. You guys have been fantastic, you know, the last years, and I just appreciate, you know, your strong voices on the council and all of the good work that you've put into it. And taking all the, you know, CRAP that comes along with being on city council. And Holly, I really appreciate your on the non-motorized trail committee work. That was a huge lift and you're doing it. So I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing what Lauren and Vice Helen can pull off in the next few years. So thank you.
Thank you. Please, come on up.
Oh, again, my name is Louis Allen. I'm at 731 Pleasant Street. And again, I just wanted to thank everybody, but I wanted just to mention that, as I already mentioned, the how important it was for us to be able to acquire this house for the first time here in Saugatuck. We've been thinking of and dreaming of for many years. My husband's family is nearby in Grand Rapids, and we've been coming here. And finally, it came that we were able to do this step in May of this year. And a lot of it really was that we were able to finance the house partly because of the short-term rentals. There's a specific program for that. So for us, it's wonderful. I think we are responsible. I know it's always wanting to have responsible people to rent to and have rules. So we're all for that, but we hope you really consider that. I think that Saugatuck is a unique place that has been able to become what it is in part because of short-term rentals for many reasons, which I'm sure you're all going to hear. But it is important to have that because for us, it made it possible. And we hope that you will consider that in your findings and everything. And we'd like to have more opportunities to talk about it, but it is important to us because it's a way we were able to get a foothold here. And we hope to spend more time here and become part of the community. That's why we're here tonight with you. It's wonderful to see democracy in action. And so we appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
glad to have you. Yes. Anyone else in the audience?
For tonight, at least. First of all, thank you. I love my outdoor seating. Hi, my name is Christine Murphy Pierce, 449 Water Street. First of all, everyone knows I love my outdoor seating. It has changed the way that I do business. It's changed the way that whole downtown, that side of town between Barge and Retro has really pulled that there's just not a core of town, there's now a bigger town. So thank you. Secondly, that airport little parcel, I've been thinking about it. And a side note, I know that we have very low enrollment in school. And being kind of a younger parent, a lot of parents are enrolling their kids in forest school, in schools that offer where the kids spend most of the time outdoors. I'm sure it's probably been talked about or whatever, but it really, really is a big deal. So it's kind of like you can get more people into the community. People drive to the Outdoor Discovery Center for Little Hawks, but Little Hawks doesn't go up to 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. A lot of people pay for it at Holland Christian for the outdoor school, and they just keep pushing the age till 5th, 6th grade, where these kids are just doing 4-H all the time, almost for school. So it's very hands-on. So I don't know. I've obviously been at the meetings a lot, so I've been thinking a lot, and that might be a way to, down the road in 15 years or whatever, throw in a forest school. These kids love it. The parents love it. It's just something I would add, but I thank you. Thank you all.
Anyone else in the room?
Hello,
Hi, welcome.
thank you. I'm Logan White. I'm a Saugatuck City resident, down on Lower Spear. Just wanted a quick report on the Saugatuck Film Festival that we had the other week. It was a massive success. We had almost 50% increase in ticket sales this year over last year. It was our second year this year. And we raised over $1,500 for Wishbone Pet Alliance, which was super fun. And we had 12 filmmakers in attendance, and people were coming in and going around all the shops and whatnot. It was just a really lovely time. So I appreciate the light support from City Council on the signage and everything. I really think that that helped us sell some more tickets and raise some more money in that capacity. We saw a great influx of tickets day of and the day before. I think from people saying, "Whoa, look at those signs." So really appreciate the opportunity to put those up. It helped out a lot. And also I'm looking forward to joining on the next meeting. It's going to be really great. Looking forward to serving the city with you all, and really excited about joining with Holly, and it's going to be great. Really excited about it. So,
Great.
hope you could tell, caught a little heat from my message on my sign, which is keep on talking. But I hope you can tell it was a spirit of, I really like what we're doing here. I really like, it wasn't running on referendum or anything. I'm really a big fan of the work that you guys do in this room. So I'm excited to be a part of that. Just we got something really special here, and I want to join the team of people helping make that happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you. Anyone else in the room?
Upper Main. There is only one Main. What made me think about it was Pleasant Street. You guys might want to tackle a little of the parking situation on the hill. As Fox has commented numerous times, especially on Pleasant Street, you can't get a fire engine down that street. And so you might want to, I don't know, I don't have a solution for parking. No one does. But you couldn't even get a fire engine down Main Street this year with cars on both sides of the street. So you might want to figure something out on that, maybe zigzag or something. I don't know. But that's my only comment.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Keith, thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Jamie, anyone on Zoom? Not that I see. Okay. All right. So that leads us to correspondence. It would be in your packet. Council comments. Could we start with Scott?
Well, I'd like to congratulate the people of the city of Saugatuck for their mayoral upgrade.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your mayor pro tem will serve you very well. It's democracy in action. Every vote counts, and you both have earned it.
Gregory.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to welcome Holly. I'm looking forward to getting to know you more, and also Logan as well. You're right, Logan. I got lots of questions from guys at the Dunes Resort asking me what that meant.
Yeah.
I really appreciate, even though I did vote no, when we voted, Lauren, you and I spoke earlier today about the process. And that there were several of us, Russ and myself, we did not know that Mayor Dean wasn't interested in running again until we heard it on the street over the weekend. At least I can speak for myself. And we did not know that Helen would be asked to be nominated for pro temp.
Didn't ask to be nominated, but go ahead.
Keep going.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so what I'm saying is that we both agreed, and I want to thank you for saying that, you know, you will reach out to me more often in conversations that maybe others are having and not everyone's having. It's not about feeling left out as much as it is having an open process of how we go about doing things. We did not talk about the election on Wednesday at our last workshop. And because it's my first year, it was a surprise to me to see it come up on our Friday packet for Monday's meeting, for today's meeting. So it would have been nice to have known that there was going to be a change, and your non-support from some of the council members that are leaving has been noted.
Holly.
Okay, well, I just wanted to thank everyone. It's been quite an odyssey. I would say that on the first morning of my first council meeting, I came downstairs 4 years ago to find all 3 of my cars vandalized. Air let out of the tires, F word, trash strewn all over my lawn. And I thought, okay, here we go. So I just smiled and walked into my first meeting. And I've said this to many of you, but I have called this process Game of Thrones on a pinhead. So entering into local politics, I am not a politician. All of you that know me know that. I was obviously, many of you know, I was a parent who was affected by what I saw was the old council's involvement with the school bond, and also just not being able to get this bike trail done. Like, we've got it over here in the township, we've got it over here in Douglas. Surely we can cross the bridge safely. It was flooding. It was a pandemic. We fought for transparency. We fought weirdly to fly the pride flag. Worked that out. Getting the bike trail going, that was amazing. Frankly, I was put forward to that position because I was the most inexperienced person. And I'm sure they thought that was not going to work out. But what happened was we were the first tri-community committee. And so wonderful people helped me who had from the township, Brenda Marcy, Jerry Donovan came on with me, Ken Truster. We had a lot of old timers who absolutely helped me all the way. I never claimed to know anything. So we found experts. Marcia Casper helped us weight our engineers. We started at the ground level. Ryan helped me with Robert's rules, which I still to this day am terrible at. And we just made our case from the basics. Why is this a good idea? How do we involve the fire department that had been such an issue? And we just went to every stakeholder. We tried to make it as boring as possible, and just check every box. And it was very frustrating because people were still trying to come up behind us this summer and get us in the paper and mess with us. But now this bike trail belongs to all of you. So I am looking to all of you to get this done, to continue the work that our tri-community committee took on. And at that time, Douglas, Saugatuck, and the township did not even get along. These managers did not even speak to each other. So I was so proud with the work that Garn and I did to, and our old council, to bring Ryan on unanimously. And Ryan had experience not only with the bike trail, but he had professional experience as a city manager in a community like Saugatuck. And he brought a level of professionalism that we have never had. He brought systems. And what all of you have done is you filled the room, you've gotten involved, and that's what Garn and I wanted, was to bring the community in and to make people feel involved, to get involved with parks, the PPW committee and short-term rental, to begin to tackle some of these issues that it wasn't happening. So I'm very proud of the work that I did. Again, I do not consider myself a typical candidate, but I believe that all of us have something to offer from time to time to our community, and it could be any of us. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity, and thank you to so many people in this room who helped me so many times. You were my subject matter expert, so thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you. I obviously do want to say a big thank you to Holly and Garn for your service. You've both have changed things for the better. And I mean, everything has been said as far as the details. And I just, it's funny. I think that I'm not really comfortable saying goodbye. I don't see it that way. I think that, you know, I read a study somewhere that when we think about the way that our lives have changed in the last 10 years, you would have never, they've taken so many twists and turns, right, in the last 10 years, and you just never know where you end up. But for some reason, we think we can predict the next 10, and it never works out that way. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, but we don't know where you're going to be. So just put a pin in it. Also, like I said on Wednesday, I want to welcome Logan Holly to council. I want to congratulate Russ on retaining his seat. And I also said on Wednesday that we're not going to agree on everything, and that's part of the deal. I want to congratulate our new, very capable mayor. I want to thank her for asking me to be her pro tem, and for the confidence of my peers for seeing that through. I'm going to work hard to earn that every day, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Excellent, Helen. Russ?
Thank you. The word odyssey is great. I love that word. I had forgotten about that word, and that would be a great way to describe my experience over the past 2 years on council. I'm looking forward to 2 more, especially with Logan and Holly. I think that will be a welcome breath of fresh air for the council. Look forward to continued service with Scott Dean, with Lauren as the mayor, with Helen as the pro tem. Wish the best of luck to Holly and Garnett in the next phase of your life as well. And looking forward to better things for the city.
Garn?
All right. Well, first, congrats, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. I think this might be a first for our city.
Oh,
2
is
women
it?
in these seats. I think so. And that, I think, is kind of reflective of our nation, really, of where we've all come, that women usually rock the world. So I believe that. With that also, I want to just congratulate Holly Anderson and Logan as well. Welcome. You'll find it to be an educational experience. And as I used to tell my students, it will be the experience that you want it to be. If you want it to be a great, positive experience, that's exactly what it's going to be. And that's the approach I've taken. You know, there's so much I could say, and I won't, because it's not worth the time or the energy. But what is important is that this has been one of the best experiences of my life, and I do not regret it for 1 second. I am most appreciative. Jamie told me not to make her cry, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Please. No, a lot of folks, the staff, I mean, council knows how I feel. Staff are kind of the unsung heroes that really don't get a whole lot of kudos for what they do and what they have to put up with. And I can't. Herbert's like, my life sucks because Garn lives, Garn lives across the street from me now. And she's just gonna come harass me every day because I can, just as a regular citizen. So that in itself is wonderful. You've been a best friend and it's been fun to see you and your family expand and what joy that has brought to your life. I think that's fantastic. And lastly, Ryan, and RC's not here. The crap that we took for hiring RC and it's ended up turning out to be the very best thing we ever could have done, so big shoulders. But, Ryan, enough can't be said. I think there's, it's probably one of the most difficult jobs, in my opinion, to be a city manager anywhere. And we've seen this across the state and across the nation, how it can be a really difficult task. And I appreciate the way in which you approach it and how you deal with it. You're kind of like oil on a duck's back. It's wonderful, or water on a duck's back. I don't know what the right analogy is, but one of the two. You just handle it with such aplomb, and I really appreciate that. And there were times when I came in ready to bury bodies, and you're like, oh, Garn, it's all good. And I appreciate that about you. And I think a lot of folks really don't know that. And I caution everyone on this council and in our community to really stop sometimes, take a breath, and think about everything that our staff has to deal with on a daily basis that we have absolutely no clue about. And for that, I appreciate every one of you. And thank you so much. And with that, thank you. This is my last meeting.
Thank you. Well, I just want to thank Logan, Holly, congratulations. Welcome. Here it is. Russ, welcome back as well. I met Holly for the first time when she was in charge of a women's march shortly after a certain election. Met her for the very first time and thought, who is this dynamic individual? And thankfully, I got to know you very well and have become good friends. Garn, the first time I met Garn, I saw on Facebook that she was doing a coffee with the candidate. And I thought, well, I am a business owner and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tell her the what and the thing and the stuff. And we ended up talking by ourselves because no one else showed up by ourselves for a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And thank you for listening at the time in a new business in town. So I appreciated that so much. And, I was at a lot of the city council meetings when you guys first started. And I just appreciated, you fighting for, some new businesses in town that, a lot of things get decided at the Butler table was what I was always told. And I was like, well, I'm not at the Butler table. I'm a new person in town as far as a business, but I lived in the area for over 20 years. So I just appreciated that you listened to me as a new business owner, my husband as well. Also the tri-community efforts that you guys have put together. It was some of the first committees that we've had that involved a tri-community. And that's what everything should be going forward on so many things. Is it has to involve Douglas, it has to involve Saugatuck Township on some of these things when it comes to affordable housing. And some of the most important things that we see going forward has to be a tri-community effort. We might not be able to build affordable housing in the city of Saugatuck, but gosh darn it, we know we can do it in the tri-community area and it needs to get done. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Mayor.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Adjourn.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job, Gal.